In July 2023, a man drove his car off of a 400-foot cliff in Los Angeles County, California. He was ejected from the car on impact and suffered major bleeding from his head. With no other person around to witness the crash, combined with the heavily wooded area and remote location of the accident, it's likely that under normal circumstances, the man would not have been found in time, if at all. Luckily for him, he had one of the iPhone 14s with the satellite-based crash detection service. The phone called the emergency service and led them to his location, saving his life. Apple has slowly and consistently been rolling out a wide range of health tech to their wearable and portable devices over the last few years. These range from the basic fitness trackers and step counters to the more serious heart health and sleep apnea detection, as well as these crash and satellite-based location detection services. This tech is fast becoming a key focus for the company. Objectively, they have helped countless people and saved numerous lives since their steady rollout over the last few years. However, the move isn't entirely altruistic. Apple's heavy promotion of these features, such as the intro film on this year's WWDC, could be seen as a callous attempt to profit off people's health anxieties. On top of this, reports have been made that Apple is making huge profits from selling health data to pharmaceutical companies, raising some big questions around ethics and how this data may be used. Here are some of the ways Apple's health tech is helping people, and some of the ways it is not. In 2022, Apple released the car crash detection on the iPhone 14 and Apple Watch.
My car rolled over 3 times and my phone landed far out of my reach. Once I collected my thoughts, I remembered my Apple Watch had the SOS feature.
With their built-in motion sensors and an advanced sensor fusion algorithm, the Apple product can identify the kind of force involved in a severe car crash. The microphone can recognize the loud sound of impact, while the accelerometer detects the sudden stop that comes with it. Finally, the barometer can sense the sharp change in air pressure triggered by an airbag going off. When all 3 sensors are triggered as such, the device notifies the user that it has detected a car crash. If the user is unresponsive, the device will automatically dial emergency services, sending them its location and hopefully that of its owner. This feature has already saved lives, like that of the man in California who crashed off a cliff and landed 400 feet below. With the rescue crew keen to point out how the iPhone crash detection system aided the quick rescue of the man. Thanks to the iPhone, authorities can now be alerted to accidents faster and send help to more precise locations. Alongside their new crash detection system, Apple also released an emergency satellite communication feature. If the user needs help but doesn't have access to cellular or Wi-Fi signal, the iPhone can help them connect with a satellite and send a text message to emergency services. The feature can also be used to share their location with loved ones, just to keep them updated while traveling through an area with no signal. This is exactly what a group of teenagers did when they got lost in the Santa Paula Canyon in Ventura, California. They were able to share details like their location and that no one was injured. Search and rescue were able to find them and help them get back home safely.
Jim's Apple Watch has detected that they took a hard fall at 5:03 a.m. The emergency location is latitude 33.0, longitude -117.2.
In Cincinnati, Ohio, an 83-year-old man collapsed on his morning walk. It was his Apple Watch that noted his fall and immediately called emergency services. Its accelerometer noted the sudden change in his speed, while its gyroscope sensed the change in his orientation.
And can sample motion data 8 times faster.
This fall detection feature is meant for senior citizens who are vulnerable to accidents or surprise health incidents, as well as others with medical conditions that make them prone to loss of motor control. Thanks to his Apple Watch, the man was quickly found by paramedics who eventually discovered a large blood clot building in his chest. He was operated on the very next day, saving his life. Heart rate detection has now become a standard feature for modern smartwatches, but this doesn't discount the value an accurate pulsometer can give at the right time. The Apple Watch's heart rate sensor works by using green LED lights and light-sensitive photodiodes to check the amount of blood flowing through your wrist. By flashing the green light hundreds of times per second, it can discern how much green light is absorbed. More light is absorbed when the heart beats, less between beats. This data is then collected to calculate the user's heart rate. If the watch notes an alarming discrepancy in the user's pulse, it sends a notification, alerting them of a possible problem. This was what happened to a woman in Maine, USA. She was alerted a couple of nights in a row by her Apple Watch that she had an irregular heartbeat. She didn't believe it at first, having no other alarming symptoms, but decided to see a doctor, just in case. In the hospital, it was discovered that she had myxoma, a rapidly growing tumor in her heart. She immediately signed up for an operation, which eventually removed a 4-centimeter tumor that would have killed her if it had gone undetected. Just this September, Apple announced that a software update will now allow AirPods Pro 2 to serve as over-the-counter hearing aids. While these aren't as dramatic as previous examples, the move itself is making waves through the health industry. Over 1 billion people in the world suffer from mild to moderate hearing loss and are left untreated. At only $249, the AirPods provide a cheaper alternative to professional hearing aids, which can cost up to $1,000. And because plenty of people use Apple AirPods, those using them for hearing aids won't stand out, overcoming the barrier of self-consciousness that could stop people from seeking help. If Apple continues this strategy of replacing expensive specialist medical devices with clinical-grade features for its wearable products, it could go a long way to making medical help more accessible for those who need it. This line of features show Apple's steady push into the health industry. Smartphone sales have been declining for years, especially during the pandemic. As innovation for the iPhone slows and the cost of living rises, people are holding on to their phones for longer. With Samsung consistently staying as the world's top smartphone manufacturer, it makes sense for Apple to look for more ways to diversify its income. And the $3 trillion US healthcare market looks very alluring indeed. Features like the Apple Watch's medically accurate electrocardiogram and fall detection target the elderly and those with long-term health concerns like heart conditions and epilepsy. This is on top of the smartwatch's foundational customer base, the athletes and runners tracking their heart rate and calories burned while they exercise. In 2022 alone, Apple made up at least half of the global smartwatch market. All that data becomes a massive pool of riches that Apple can leverage. It forms the foundation of Apple's Research Kit and Care Kit software frameworks. The Research Kit is for making apps that allow medical researchers to access Apple's data, not just for individual patient consultations, but for developing future treatments. Meanwhile, the Care Kit helps app makers build apps to help patients manage their medical conditions and keep in contact with their doctors during their day-to-day. No one can deny how much the Apple Kits and resulting apps have helped people with long-term diseases and disabilities like Parkinson's. It also cannot be denied how much of a lucrative market it provides for Apple. In 2023 alone, the health app industry generated $3.43 billion. Just by keeping the kits up to date, Apple can rely on the community to create content independently and profit off the results. But apps aren't the only way for Apple to profit from gathered customer data. The whole world is turning its gaze towards AI and how it can be used in their industry. A study in 2023 showed that an AI trained on X-ray scans was able to diagnose 35 out of 37 conditions with a 94% accuracy, equal or greater than that of a human doctor. With the enormous amount of data at Apple's fingertips, their resources would be invaluable in further developing AI models in the medical field. Their customer base is worldwide and diverse. That kind of quantity and diversity is exactly what is needed to train AI models and provide data they can pull from when processing information and gathering analyses. And with the launch of Apple Intelligence earlier this year, we already know that Apple is jumping into the AI train with both feet. With the might of Apple behind medical research, we could be seeing revolutionary developments in technology that could help people in their daily lives. But this new dawn in Apple's history isn't all sunshine and rainbows. There are concerns about the quality of the tech Apple is producing and advertising. Just recently, Apple has been embroiled in a legal battle with Masimo, a health technology company, over the pulse oximetry feature in the newest models of the Apple Watch. The US International Trade Commission blocked the importation of Apple Watches with an active blood oxygen feature into the US after it was ruled to violate a patent filed by Masimo. The CEO, Joe Kiani, wasn't shy about criticizing Apple's implementation of the oximeter. Apple is masquerading what they are offering to customers as a reliable medical pulse oximeter, even though it is not, he said. Apple Watches only took measurements twice a day instead of the constant measures needed to accurately measure sleep apnea. They also didn't seek out US FDA approval to certify it as a medical device. If Apple is going to make further inroads into the health industry, this careless attitude towards pushing out features for hype or profit can cast doubt on the integrity of their future products. Another growing concern is Apple's data collection itself. How much and which data is Apple collecting, and how clear is it to their users? And just how secure is that data? Users are putting their implicit trust in Apple to secure their data and use it ethically. Just one major leak could land Apple in hot water, damaging its efforts and its relationships with its clients. Still, with their widespread use and heavy push into medical technology, it's clear that Apple isn't going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, that relative affordability and mass acceptance is part of what makes them so helpful to the people who need them most. It will be interesting to see what new accessibility and health features Apple can present in the near future. So what do you think? Will Apple's health tech be a big benefit for the planet, or are you concerned about a company like this controlling and profiting off of health data?
Remember to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to stay updated with our latest content. And while you're here, why not check out another one of our exciting videos? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.